Hello and welcome to the Carpet Court Benchmark Suite webinar. Today's webinar is designed to help you learn how to use the Benchmark Suite application to enter data in for your company and also analyze that data and produce reports. So when you log into the Benchmark Suite, you will see your company record. I have just loaded up a sample company for today's webinar. So once you've logged in and you see your sample company, you can just click on the record. By default, we will create financial year 2015 for your company. You can go through the process and add additional financial years if you would like to enter in some historical data. So let's enter into this financial year 2015 and have a look at how to enter some data. So within the data entry page here, we've got a number of sections. The first is the business details, where you can just go through and enter in your information for location, personnel, and some other details, as well as sources of income. We then have the profit and loss section, and we round out the page with the balance sheet. So you might have noticed as I was scrolling down the page, we have a number of import buttons. So you can actually import your profit and loss and also your balance sheet from either Xero accounting software or from an Excel sheet that's produced as an output from another accounting software package. So let's run through the import process quickly. To do that, we just click on the import profit and loss button, which will kick off the import tool. So you can see here we've got two options. We can copy from Excel or CSV, or we can connect to Xero and bring some data in from Xero accounting software. So today we'll run through the process of how to bring data in from Excel, as there's a couple of extra steps. If you're connecting to Xero, all you need to do is push this button, log into Xero, and then authorize your data to come across to benchmarking.com.au. The data that we will pull into our benchmark suite is just for the financial year in question. So if you're within financial year 2015, it will be for financial year 2015. So let's click on copy from Excel and see how this process works. So what we'll need to do is just paste in some data. So I've got an Excel file here, which is just a profit and loss output. And what we'll do is we'll just bring in this data. So pretty straightforward. You can actually grab from anywhere on your Excel file here, it doesn't matter, and all you need to do is just make sure you're highlighting the label and the data columns. So once you're happy with your selection, just press copy and we'll shrink that file down and paste it into the application. So then we just need to nominate which column relates to our labels and which relates to our data, and once we've done that, we can click next. Now the Xero import process will go through the exact same steps and wind up at step 5 here, just as the Excel import has. So here we've got the profit and loss for benchmarking.com.au on the left, and then to the right we've got the data that we've just imported. So what we can do now is just click on each data item and drag it into the questionnaire. And you can see that's just stored in there nicely. So we can continue this process down the page for multiple items, and we just click, drag and drop each item into the questionnaire. And you can drag multiple items into one cell and that will just add up for you. So you can just continue that process on down the page for all your cogs. If you've got some subcontractors, you can enter them in as well, and away we go. So what will happen in the background, our application will actually store this work. So if you return to complete the benchmarking exercise for another year, it will actually remember what you've done and just automatically map this the next time round. So the time investment to complete the map is only really on your first execution here. So we'll hit submit, and this will just store the data back to our benchmark suite questionnaire. As you can see here, we've got the data flowing through. And so that's how to enter some data very briefly. You can also go through and just manually enter the data as well. It doesn't matter how you're doing it, whatever's easiest for you. and just make sure you're getting as much content in as possible, because all that content will then flow through to the benchmark page. So let's quickly have a look at the benchmark page. I won't touch on all of the tabs in the application today. I just wanted to cover off the data entry to make sure that we're getting this data in correctly, and then we'll send out a second notification as we start to produce these reports. So benchmarking.com.au has loaded up some initial benchmarks for Carpet Court, but what will happen is as we start to receive Carpet Court data in, we will actually go through and update all these benchmarks to have all the latest Carpet Court data in the application, and we'll notify all participants as we start to roll this data out to the application. So within the benchmark page, we can just click these headers here and just select the benchmarks that we would like to compare against, and once you click on it, it will just drop the benchmarks in for the all the different key performance indicators that we're looking at here. So nice and easy. And then you can click through to the remaining tabs here. We've got some interesting items, including the Australian Taxation Office benchmarks here for law covering. So you can go through and have a look at that and see how you're stacking up against the ATO's benchmarks as well. So what we'll look at now is just have a quick run through of the valuation questionnaire. And so within this application, you can actually complete a valuation of your business. And what you need to do is you can enter up to 3 years worth of financial data. Please note that this data entry section is completely separate from the first data entry page, and that's because we're asking quite different questions, and we're also asking for the information across 3 financial years as well. So you can literally go through here and enter in your data for the different financial years, and away you go. And so we can just start to enter in some different figures, and all of this will start to flow through into our valuation. So as you can see here, we're starting to get some adjusted EBIT. You can go through and nominate a weighting to each of the items here, and this will flow through to the Biz Value page, where you just need to enter in some final parameters around the investment payback period. So you need to actually assume a person is buying the business here, and also apply a cash rate. So what would that person want to pay back for the investment period, for example, insert a tax rate, and also the cost of funds that they might expect to pay on that commercial debt, for example. And once you've entered all this in, it'll start to flow through and provide you with that business valuation there. I've just skimmed through this very quickly just to show you how to enter the data in, and once you've completed all that, it will actually produce a result down the bottom here for the business valuation. So what you can then do is start to print some of this data off to a report, and to do that you just click the print button up the top here, and then you can just select the format that you would like to print to. We can actually print to PDF, Word, OpenOffice or Excel, and so here we'll just select PDF and print this off. You can actually nominate the different pages you would like to appear in that report as well. So here we might remove the questionnaire, might remove the valuation questionnaire just to tighten up that report a little bit, and you can generate that and see what comes out. So I'm using Google Chrome here. This will actually produce a PDF document to the bottom of my browser. We highly recommend that everyone uses Google Chrome, otherwise Mozilla Firefox. Please steer clear of Internet Explorer, as it's becoming harder and harder to support that browser format. Microsoft have recently actually done away with the Internet Explorer browser, and they've completely overhauled it. So it was quite a troublesome browser. So Google Chrome is definitely the way to go, and here's this PDF now, so we can just open that up, and you can see here we've got our nice report coming through with a table of contents and so on. So that's a quick look into how to use the benchmark tool and produce a report. If you have completed all your data entry, we will actually detect this on our end, and we will run through a data review process. But if you've finished your data entry and you'd like us to just run through and review it ahead of schedule, you can just click on this data review button up the top, and that will just notify us on our end to start that review process. If we do have any items that appear to be major outliers, we might come back to you with an email or a quick phone call just to discuss those items so that we can get the best data entry in for this benchmark project. And once you've completed your work, you can log out. Now, I will point out that you can actually log back into the application at any time. You will have access to this and for at least the next 8 to 12 months. So you can log out and log back in and enter your data when you get a chance if you only get half of the questionnaire completed, for example. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover off in today's webinar. If you have any questions, please contact myself, Vincent at benchmarking.com.au, and I'll get back to you with response. Thank you.